In this episode, we're going to talk about why you shouldn't give your clients the confidence to go and do things on their own and how that can ruin your chances of having them in the future as a client and really even cost you their business altogether. So, I'm Brian Downward. This is Laptop Empires, and we're at episode number 39. Thank you so much for spending a couple of minutes of your day with me. If you're new here and you enjoy this content, I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. But for those of you who have been subscribed for a while, thank you for the loyalty, and I'm excited to share some interesting strategies and tips with you today. So this is an important topic because I recently lost a really big client of mine because I gave them too much confidence that they could go and do it by themselves. Now, I'm not going to get into too much details, but essentially this person had someone else on their team with a lot of free time, and they were starting to get nosy. They were asking a lot of questions, starting to go out on their own and test things. And I foolishly played along. I just thought they were interested in figuring it out and wanted to know more, but no, there was an ulterior motive there, and they were trying to figure out exactly what I was doing so they could just do it themselves and not have to pay me. Now, this is a huge mistake a lot of us make as marketers because we feel like we need to get into really specific details about what we're going to do for a client in order to win and keep their business. But that's just not the case. They only care about the end result. You need to hear what their goals are and figure out what the best way to get them there is. Don't bore them to death with whether you're going to use SEO or Facebook ads or YouTube ads or any of these things. They don't care what you're doing there is. A really interesting analogy that I heard the other day was it's like a house. People who are buying homes, they want a solid home. They want to buy a beautiful, well-designed, quality home. They don't care about the tools that were used to build it. They don't care necessarily about the person whose name is on the wood that's in the home or who cut that. They just want a quality home and they want the end product. It's the same thing for your clients. And that was, I thought, a really good analogy. So what I'm going to do right now is get into 3 specific ways that you can avoid doing this all together and make sure that you're keeping clients around and that they're realizing your value is something that they just can't get on their own. So the first thing you want to do is really be cautious about the questions that your clients are asking you. So if you're starting to get the sense, like I did, that they're just getting too specific, they're getting too detailed, and they want to get into the weeds a little too much, those are some red flags. If you've ever seen Silicon Valley, there's a really funny episode where they go into an office and they think these people are potential investors, but they start asking really specific questions. By the end of the meeting, before they realize it, they're giving away all of their secrets and these people are stealing them, and then they start a new company to compete with them. So you want to be really careful with this when clients in the beginning or middle stages of the relationship are starting to get too nosy and really wanting to try and figure out what you're doing. But really pull back and be cautious and just say, you don't have to worry about that. That's my job. You focus on what you do best and I'll do what I do best. And honestly, if they, make it an issue and really, force your hand, they're probably not a great client anyways, because, again, they're probably more than likely trying to figure out how you do it so they don't have to keep you around. So just be really careful about not showing too much, and don't be rude, but just, be wise about the questions that you're hearing from clients and how you answer those without giving away too much. Now, along those same lines, the second thing that you're going to want to do is just continue to focus on the value that you've created. Clients, at the end of the day, again, they want an end product. They want value. So just continuously focus on that and not the details of what you're getting into. So value, again, is totally subjective. Some people, would find it valuable to have a better relationship. Some people would find it valuable to not have to pay or not have to clean their house or cook for themselves. So value is subjective. It's not just in terms of dollars. So it's up to you to really figure out what your client thinks is valuable, whether that's brand awareness, leads, sales in most cases, and figure out how you can continuously just keep them focused on that and create more of it for them so they're not even worried about trying to get into your hair and trying to figure out what you do. Now, the third and probably most important thing that you want to do is when you're signing up a new client, in your terms of service, your proposal, whatever you send to them for them to sign and come on board with you, you want to have a stipulation in there that clearly states you are only leasing them anything that you create for the duration of your relationship, unless otherwise stated. So I know it sounds a little bit fancy, and I'm not a lawyer at all, and I'm not even sure where all those fancy words came from, but essentially all that means is for the lifetime that they're a client, anything that you create for them, you own, and when they are not a client anymore, you take with you. Now, there are some exclusions here, things like written content or websites or things that they buy as a finished product and you give to them, they own. But in terms of lead generation campaigns, I know a lot of us as marketers run these types of things, the landing pages, the creative, the copy, all of these things you should own. So if they ever decide to go do it themselves, they just can't take what you've created and go run with it. So make sure that you have those stipulations in your contract, and that you make sure you are setting clear expectations with what you own versus what they own, and make sure there's no room for misinterpretation there. So again, guys, the three things you're really going to want to focus on is making sure that you are cautious and being wary of the questions clients are asking you, making sure they're not getting too deep so you don't share that much. Second thing is really focusing on that value you create for them and helping them understand they just can't do this on their own and they really need you to continue to get that value. And then lastly, just make sure you set those clear expectations on what you own as an agency should you ever decide to go your different ways with clients, and set those expectations early so that they know at the beginning of the relationship, if they decide to ever leave, that they're not going to get to keep everything you created. So I hope that this has been helpful and helps you keep clients around for a bit longer. I know that it's frustrating losing clients. It's all part of the game. I'm back in hustle mode looking for my next set of clients in a new niche, hopefully, that I'm excited about getting into. So use this advice, run with it. And if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. But in the meantime, I really appreciate you tuning in. Again, my name is Brian Downard. This is Laptop Empires, episode number 39, and I'll see you in the next one.